A lot of people think Moses missed the promised land just because he got angry, but it's deeper than that. Look at Numbers 20 verses 10 through 12. Moses hits the rock instead of speaking to it. Now, on the surface, that sounds like, okay, he messed up, he got mad, that's why he missed it. But pause for a second. Moses had struck a rock before, right? One time there was no water, he struck it and water came out. This time, though, he strikes it out of anger. So is the whole issue just anger? No, anger isn't the problem. So what is the problem? Let's think about who Moses represents here. Remember when Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the tablets of stone? What were those tablets? The law, the commandments. So Moses is connected to the law. And then he strikes the rock. Think about that. The law striking the rock. And who is the rock? Go to 1 Corinthians 10 verse 4. And that rock was Christ. Now it starts to make sense. Because if Moses represents the law and the rock represents Christ, then this picture is showing something bigger than just a guy losing his temper. The law cannot save you. It can expose sin, it can show you where you fall short, but it cannot make you righteous. Galatians 3:10 through 13 says trying to earn salvation through the law puts people under a curse because nobody keeps it perfectly. And Romans 3:20 says no one is declared righteous by the law. The law shows us our sin. That's what it does. It reveals. It doesn't rescue. That's why Jesus came to fulfill the law for us, because we can't. The more we try to keep the law, the more we fail. And maybe that's exactly the point. So when Moses strikes the rock, we've got to ask a bigger question. Why does that matter so much? Because the rock is Christ, and Christ was struck once, not again and again. Galatians 3:13 says Jesus took the curse for us. Jesus was struck once for salvation. The second time, Moses was told to speak to the rock, not strike it. Because now the invitation is faith, not force. Profess, not striving. Rest, not self-effort. And that's why this is so important. Hebrews 4:10 says the one who enters God's rest has also ceased from his own works. We keep wanting to prove ourselves. We keep wanting to earn it. But the law is not the Savior. It never was. It can lead you to the Savior. It can show you that you need the Savior, but it cannot be the Savior. That's why Moses leads them, but Joshua takes them in. Moses brings them to the edge. Joshua brings them into the land. And that matters because Joshua and Jesus are tied together in name and meaning. So the picture is clear. The law can bring you to the doorway, but it cannot open the door. Jesus is the door. Jesus is the chief cornerstone. Jesus is the one who was struck once. And now the response is simple. Speak to the rock. Call on him. Trust him. Stop trying to climb into salvation by your own effort. Stop trying to earn what was already finished. Because the promised land is not entered by law-keeping. It's entered by faith, by rest, by believing in the finished work of Jesus Christ. So yeah, Moses striking the rock and not making it into the promised land is symbolic. It's showing us something. The commandments cannot save you. The law can expose sin, but it cannot heal it. Only Jesus can do that. Only Jesus gets you in.